How do you solve a problem called inflation? That is the most urgent political issue in the country right now. After all, the parliamentary budget officer, who will join us later in the program, issued a new report today that the consumer price index had hit the highest level since 1991. Not only that, get this, 7 million Canadians, this is such a tragedy, 7 million Canadians went hungry at least once between March 2020 and March 2022, according to Food Banks Canada. That's 1 in 5 Canadians going hungry. The average gas price is up to over $2 a litre in some places across the country, according to the Canadian Automobile Association. Canadians are feeling inflation in the housing market, the grocery store, and at the pumps. Today, the two opposition parties offered radically different opposing ways to fix all this. One pitching lower tax, the other pitching higher tax. Check this out. The Conservatives are saying, we're going to put forward an opposition motion, which they've done, asking for a temporary suspension on the GST tax on gas, suspending the carbon tax, eliminating tariffs on fertilizer, and removing all federal COVID-19 restrictions, and launching a national public inquiry into money laundering. The NDP have a different view. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh pitching an excess profit tax on wealthy corporations who are making big profits, including financial institutions, big oil and gas companies. Mr. Singh says that money would go to Canadians who qualify through the GST tax credit and the Canada Child Benefit. They would receive between, he says, $500 and $1,000. So what will it take to give Canadians and their wallets some relief? MPs are here to debate that. Joining me now, Associate Finance Parliamentary Secretary Rachel Bendayan, Conservative Associate Finance Critic Dan Albas, and NDP Whip Rachel Blaney. Great to have all of you here. It's rainy out. Mr. Albas, let me start with the opposition and we'll zing back to the government. Your party saying, okay, the best way to help Canadians is a tax cut. How long would the party want the GST, for example, on gas suspended, and how much would that save Canadians?
So ultimately, we want to deal with the cost of living crisis today. So if situation changes and in 6 months it's no longer necessary, then we were fine for the government to have the flexibility to go back. And let's just bear in mind, Evan, that right now we don't tax GST on things like groceries because we want to support families. And so the same situation goes right now where families are having a hard time filling their tanks. They're having a hard time paying for their grocery bills. And the NDP are offering a very bad solution for this. Doug Porter, who is the chief economist at the Bank of Montreal, has said, we don't want to have inflation get entrenched. And so if you suddenly make it so that oil and gas companies are suddenly taxed on so-called excessive profits, they'll just pass that on to the consumers. It's the same thing that the Liberals are going to see happen with their bank excessive profits tax. It'll end up either they'll close local banks.
How much would this save Canadians? Just out of interest,
so the 8 cents
from the affordability point of view.
Right across the country, it would save 8 cents a liter for everyone. And then there's, on addition to that, household heating bills, electricity bills. We would give it the same GST exempt status. And again, Evan, what we're trying to say here is the government may not be able to scratch every itch, but it hasn't even attempted to deal with the biggest cost of living affordability crisis that Canadians have seen since 1981. So we want them to actually take action. Instead, they're promising dental programs. They're promising provincial daycare schemes that in my province of British Columbia say it's going to be years before people actually get access to universal $10 a day daycare. So they're lagging behind. People are facing the crunch now, Evan. This is a chance for the government to step up. We hope they look at our pragmatic solutions versus the NDP's, because the NDP is putting forward very bad solutions that will end up making inflation entrenched.
Okay, well, hang on. Let's give the NDP a shot to defend it before we can have it. Ms. Blaney, your party says the federal government should use the GST tax credit and the Canada Child Benefit to get Canadians between $500 and $1,000 with this excess tax. How would this work, and how fast could that happen?
Well, I think first of all is these are systems that are already in place. We already have people who get their GST, who get their child tax benefit. These are systems that are in place. So it's really about addressing the fact that we have a lot of bigger corporations that are receiving excess tax. I think Loblaw's got 66% in the last fiscal year than they did the year before. We know that there's some oil and gas industries companies that are making, 30 times more than they've made in a long time. It's clearly excess, and that is concerning. And right now we have a conservative that
Sorry,
just
can you
keeps
just tell me
saying,
what's the definition? What's the definition of excess profit? I think Canadians
well, when
would
you
know that.
see oil and gas companies saying that we've never had profit like this for the last 30 years, I would say that that's pretty clearly an excess tax. And
But
what's
what is
sad
the
is that the
definition? Is
Conservatives
it
keep
10%,
saying that it's just going to
20%?
get passed on. It's just going to get passed on. We got to hold these corporations to account. Canadians are working hard. They're going every day to their workplace. They're working hard for their families, and they're now in a situation where they don't know if they're going to be able to afford basic food. This is very concerning. And these are systems that are in place. The federal government just has to take some leadership and say, we're going to look at these industries. We're going to make sure that they pay their fair share, which I think Canadians across the board want to see. They know they're paying their fair share. Shouldn't those big corporations also pay their fair share and get money into the pockets of Canadians?
Okay,
that needs to happen, and it's urgent, and we know that.
Okay, but I just want to try to tease this out. At what point does it just explain how this works? There's a corporation. Is this a new excess profit tax that kicks in after they've made what, 15% profit, 20% profit? When does the new excess profit tax kick in? At what level of profit?
Well, Evan, we're looking at the realities. Loblaw's getting 66% more than the year before. We're looking at Suncor getting 30, I think it's the most they've had in 30 years. So there is a lot of things that we can look at that clearly indicate, we saw that through COVID. We saw some corporations struggling, other corporations making more than they have. So the data is out there. It's about having a government that has the strength of character to say enough is enough. Canadians are paying their fair share. Now Canadians are struggling profoundly. They are making terrible decisions that they shouldn't have to. While they're working so hard to pay their taxes, let's make sure that everyone else is paying their fair share.
Okay, let's go to Ms. Bendayan. So there's two. You've got the Conservatives saying cut the GST on gas and heating. The NDP saying why don't you do a tax? Will your government? I know that your government has done the child benefit, and I know you mentioned that. But the consumer price index is the highest it's been since 1991. People need immediate relief at the pumps. It's a tricky time. What is the immediate? Will any of these solutions be considered by your government?
Well, thanks for the question, Evan. And I haven't raised the Canada Child Benefit yet, but I will, because it'll be up to $7,000 next year for a family. And I was really disappointed to hear in the House today the Conservative leader Candice Bergen call these a few puny checks. What we're talking about is the Canada Worker Benefit that passed today through Bill C-19. We're talking about a one-time payment for Canadians finding it difficult to identify affordable housing. These are measures that we put in place in order to support Canadians, yes, through this period of inflation, but really we have been there since day one to support vulnerable Canadians through the pandemic, and we'll continue to do that. On the topic of taxing, big corporations and those who have made extraordinary profits, we are moving ahead with that. We are instituting a one-time tax on banks. We're also instituting a luxury tax on luxury boats and luxury planes. And I think those are important measures as well. But we also need to be careful. Canada needs to be a place where we welcome foreign investment, where businesses feel comfortable making profits and doing business in Canada. We're experiencing economic growth right now. That growth needs to continue. Experts are forecasting that Canada will have the fastest and the highest growth among G7 countries this year and next year, and we certainly want that growth to continue in an upward trajectory while supporting Canadians.
But Ms. Dayan, what about the Conservative plan? Because they're asking for a temporary halt on GST on gas, would save 8 cents a litre. The food bank data, when you have 7 million Canadians going hungry at least once, in the last 2 years. It's devastating. What's wrong with considering an immediate relief of, for example, GST on gas to help people? You know, the child benefit is one thing, but there's lots of people that have to commute every day. They're stuck in traffic, and the price of gas is just brutal. Why not consider that? What's the problem with that?
Well, Evan, what the Conservatives presented today was basically a proposal to cut the price on pollution on gas and the GST, and there's no guarantee that these oil and gas companies are going to pass that profit on to consumers. We also just finished arguing before the Supreme Court of Canada to institute a price on pollution, and I think it would be entirely contradictory for our government to now lift it. The other thing that the Conservatives proposed today in their motion was
I'm talking about the GST. I mean, you're right on the carbon. You have a choice to do it, but the GST is a different thing. They are proposing cut the GST temporarily. Why, again, you don't have to do everything they want, but do something. What about that? Your government has had record revenues from inflation. Why not give some back to the consumer just on that one, just out of interest?
Well, I know that the majority of taxes that are on gasoline are from the provincial level. I don't, I don't see what is stopping oil and gas companies from increasing their prices if we were to remove a federal tax. And that federal tax, I don't think, is going to give as significant a relief to Canadians as the Conservatives might like. And the other Conservative proposal in the motion today was to completely remove the 35% tariff on certain agricultural goods. And quite frankly, this is a tariff that we impose, further to the applause and encouragement of the Conservative Party 100 days ago or so when Russia invaded Ukraine. And today, now they're saying that we should remove the sanction on Russia. I mean, these are very strange economic proposals coming from the Conservative Party and frankly are quite disappointing. I would love to be able to work with the Conservatives and all opposition parties on economic policy, but there is nothing really that we can work with here on the table.
Okay, I know we're going to have more debate. Unfortunately, I've got to leave it here. I think they're really interesting. At least this is a really critical debate. Ms. Bendaia and Mr. Albus and Ms. Blaney, great to have the three of you on. Please come back. I think we've got to continue these really important debates. I appreciate it.